Hello everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to the channel where we are on our way to another Kraftgali design team project. We are pulling out Concord and Ninth bundled up once again because this year in 2019 we are in the spirit of getting lots and lots of use out of our wonderful stamp sets, and I am going to play with this stamp set a little bit differently than I did the last one. So I am pulling out some Tim Holtz watercolor paper. It's super bright white, and I love the stark difference of the textured side versus the smooth side. I think that's so interesting and fun because they both get a very different look. So I'm pulling out my replacement mat here that if you have a glass mat, this is like the replacement side for the right part of it. I just bought it to use it, and I love how it's like rubbery on the bottom, so it's easy to just place on my mat. I'm going to do some distress blending here. This is the second piece, and that second piece you saw me blend on there has the textured side, and you can see how different that is. Doesn't pick up a whole lot. You kind of got to get the ink and the water real nice and juicy. So I'm going to go through here, and I don't show you every single bit of the ink blending and then the drying, but just know that you want to work this until you get the blend that you're happy with, whatever you're going for. I love the color blend of these four. I feel like they have a soft blend to them. They kind of give like a stormy sky with a little bit of fun and color to it. Okay, so I get the colors laid down, and I do that probably about 3 or 4 times, and I'm happy with what I get. I take out my mini Misty here, and I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool. I'll be stamping out my 2 characters here, my 2 images, in some Nocturne ink from VersaFine Claire. And this is one-time stamping on watercolor paper, and I think it came out perfectly. So I'm really, really happy with that ink. It's definitely my new favorite. I'm going to heat set that in some clear embossing powder, and I am actually going to watercolor these images with good old distress inks. So you can't see it, but on the right here I have that same sheet I was using with the distress oxides for my backgrounds, and I just put a little bit of those ink spots of the colors that I chose right there on that sheet. So it's like a color palette. And then I'm taking a water brush and I am just coloring in. This was so fast and so easy. Now there's nothing earth-shattering about the coloring blending that I'm doing here. So it's not fancy, but it was just so very easy to do, and it took me no time at all to color up these images. Of course, I sped this up quite a bit because it would have taken me a lot longer had I not for the video, but I used all different colors. I have a very wide variety of the distress inks in the ink spots because I love that they come in these smaller cubes. It makes it really friendly to my wallet, I should say, to be able to experience the distress ink line and not have to buy the really big ones. So that's been great, and I've bought most of my ink spots in the, I think they're called mini cubes. I'm calling them ink spots, but I think they're called mini cubes. I've bought most of them in like groupings of colors. So again, it's just for, you know, price-wise, they're nice. They're nice to have, and they are a little bit different. If I was to watercolor with oxides, which you can do, your colors will be a little bit more muted and have a chalkier finish. These are bright and beautiful and tons of fun to color with. So in the distress ink line too, there's the same color names as the distress oxides, and so I'm going to color up the skin tones next. And I am doing the skin tones here to resemble my 2 cuties. My daughter is a little bit darker skin tone than my son. And I'm going to get those colored up really, really easy, putting a little bit of darker colors where the shading might be. I did do a little bit of that on the faces for both of the kids. Not so much on the clothes, a little bit. You can kind of see a little bit like on the coat, a little bit on the boots. But mostly on the hair and the face is kind of where I tried to put a little bit more shading in. So I put a little bit of black into the girl's hair just to darken that up a little bit, but then I went back with some more brown and I just can't kind of add that. Now I'm going back and forth between the two images here because I want one to dry while I work on the other one so that I can put second and third layers of color wherever I want it. The fact that I used very little water in the coloring process helped these images dry much faster, and it was a lot easier to then be able to lay down a second color of anything that I wanted to. So just keep that in mind when you're doing that, and it's nice to have two images to kind of bounce back and forth between. So it makes it, very seamless. All right, so I get those colored up. Now here, I got a little bit outside the lines, and I do want to keep a white border around those images, so I wanted to clean that up a little bit. For both of my backgrounds, I'm going to cut them down with Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle dies, and then I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool all over them because I'm going to take out the little snowflakes that are in the stamp set, and I'm going to put the snowflakes all over the background of my panels. I'm going to be using some Versamark sticky ink, and I am just going to town all over it. Once I get those all stamped out, I'm going to take some white heat embossing powder, or this is super fine white, and I am going to get that all covered. I want look like a nice blizzard here, and then I'm going to heat set that with my heat tool. After that, I'm pulling out some Lawn Fawn glitter cardstock, and I'm going to cut that down again with the same stitched rectangle, and then I'm going to use this hillside die so that I could get it to line up exactly where I need it to. I'm going to glue those flat down because I don't want any dimension on those. I want the dimension to come from the actual people. So once I get that down, I'm going to put something heavy on it so that it lays nice and flat and it'll glue really well. I'm popping up both of my images here very simply. Just use some foam tape that I have. And that's going to be for both of the girl and the boy. Okay, so my last final touch here is just going to be taking some of these Nuvo drops, these crystal drops, and I'm going to be making these snowflakes, the snowballs out of my crystal drops. I'm going to put one in each of their hand, and then I am going to put them all over the ground right in front of the kids. So it looks like they have their little arsenal of snowballs. I actually decided to add some flying through the air as well, as if she was throwing multiples at the same time. And so you can kind of see me add those as well. I thought that was a nice little addition there, lots of fun. And it added some good fun dimensions to the card. So here's some still photos here I'll show you. Thank you so much for stopping by and for crafting with us today. I hope you guys had as much fun as we did. Don't forget to check out the other video that we did using this stamp set where you can see the layering of the clothes for both of those images. It's so much fun and so easy to do. And I'll list everything we used below. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss anything from us. And we will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.